Hello, everybody. Welcome to Losers Round 6 action in the Hell Let Loose Summer Invitational 2021. My name is Avinus. I am joined in the booth this afternoon by the one and only Jem, the victorious 82nd Airborne team captain against their match earlier today in the winners final against Ara. Welcome, Jem. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This should be a good match. We are just about to get started. We had a little bit of a late confirmed match start, so we're just like literally 90 seconds or so. But just quickly, this match is between third seeded DC and fourth seeded OC. Yes, it is a little bit confusing, and they sound kind of similar. So to make things a little bit easier, we're gonna call DC DC, and we're gonna call OC Odd Company, just so that way no one gets confused because they are so similar. So this is the first match. We're just about to get started. This is a best of three, as all of the matches in this tournament have been, or games, I should say. DC is the higher seed. They're the number three, so they got to make their selections here, and they selected artillery battery, and they picked Axis and attacking. And so OC is on your right. Sorry, Odd Company is on your right, and they are going to be in orange. And DC is going to be in blue, and they're going to be on your left. So, Jem, have you guys played artillery battery? What are you looking for in this match?
Oh, to be honest, we haven't played RT Battery since last year. For reasons that it has changed quite drastically, I guess. And before that, we would be using a lot of edge lines in this map, but I think they have switched around a little bit after the updates, and we haven't actually practiced this one anymore. It didn't feel like it's like very strong pick. That actually is something that you would pick to win. It's more of a balance point, I would say.
Yeah, and it's interesting because DC has been coming here. This has been their selection now, I think, 3 rounds in a row, so they're clearly feeling good about this. Um, let's see. Oh,
To be
no.
honest, I think they're just really tired of playing Checkpoint because they've practiced against Checkpoint quite a lot of times.
Yes, and I just got word that we're actually pushing to 105. There was a disconnect. So they are pushing start back 5 minutes. So that gives us some more time to chat, which I don't mind.
Yeah.
Um, so
But let's introduce the teams, I guess, in
yeah,
general.
well, go ahead. Be my guest.
So if we're talking about Odd Company, Odd Company are the team that is experienced in this format. They have a lot of players coming in from the last year, which played together with 82nd, and got so far as semifinals before our hiatus, or how do you want to call it, and the OC formed. So they've been actually practicing 18th format games throughout the last year as well, playing against EW and other teams that were open to play these games. While DC are the guys who never ever played this before this tournament. They were thrown into this format only playing with us, like against 82nd, and some trainings where we invited them to get the feel for this game. Um, yeah, they're kind of DC have really good shooters because they are basically the best of the best that split off from Exodus, previous seasonal winners, winter seasonal winners. And they're a group that have stayed together for quite some long time. I think they've been playing together in PBS before Exodus, so they know each other very well and they mesh together well. But if we look at the matchup itself, I think it's quite even, I would say. Maybe slightly giving it to DC in terms of firepower, but as I can see from OC guys, they have a lot of good players as well, which I haven't seen actually in previous games. So, yeah, I'm really looking into this game. And since the point is quite balanced and both teams seem to be also quite balanced, this will be a really good match to watch.
I completely agree, and we actually selected artillery battery for last year's finals because we felt it was a balanced point. So I agree with you. I think from the outside in, DC's selection of artillery battery is a little bit of a head scratcher, only because I think there are probably more favorable places to go. But I will say that in the games that DC has played on artillery battery thus far this tournament, they have looked and felt really good. And they pretty much brought it to the camp yesterday, and I don't think they were ever really in that match. After the first 3 minutes, there was a hard reset. So DC clearly feels pretty good on this one, and I can see, if it's working, keep doing it. So it should make for a fairly balanced match, though, I think.
You saw some mistakes in the game against DC though from DC because like on the south especially. Okay, they kind of boxed out the north side on this hospice match against training camp, but the south side was a little bit struggling, and the reason for that was that Ninja Pulver specifically as a squad leader pushed up really close, and he was sitting in a bush trying to hold off the southern push, but the outpost stayed quite far back, and essentially training camp tried to push with 2 squads south, and Ninja Pool was just stuck there. And as soon as the guys holding the line were just picked off, they had to run all that distance from the outpost, and essentially they lost south, and that's southern loss made them weak on the middle.
Yeah, and I think if I go backwards in this tournament too, like if I go back to the very opening matches, I feel like, and I don't know this yet, but I feel like we're about a minute to start, so I just wanted to mention this. This tournament has been very interesting because I mentioned this earlier on stream. You had teams that were seeded in the top 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that were competitors from last year, and that was the natural way of seeding because we didn't have any other way to do it. And the only team from the top 4 to survive was you guys. The original 3 seed now was 2, and then after today is 1. And we've just seen a lot of movement in this tournament up and down the seedings. And so I just think it speaks to how many teams have been involved in really have just put a lot of time and effort into participating in this and have taken it up. And I just want to say, Jem, really amazing performance earlier today as we are about to get started with match 1 between DC and OC. I think the first thing we're going to watch for here is an opening rocket from OC. They've been pulling this every match thus far of the tournament, and I'm going to wait to see if that happens. So we shall see.
And they did not start.
Why did they not start? Wait, I think we had a false.
DC started, but OC didn't.
Reset, stop,
Yeah.
Stop.
I think we had a false start there. I don't know what happened.
OC didn't start.
OC didn't get the message apparently.
Sorry, chaps, I don't know what's going on.
So
And now they're going back.
now everyone's running backwards, so it's okay. So now we're running back.
Sorry about that, guys.
A bit of a false start. We're gonna figure out what happened there. I don't know if OC had been properly communicated to start time.
Already some tension forming. Even though company is in good terms with DC guys, I think this will form some a little bit tension as well.
Yeah, something happened there. I don't know what. I don't know if it was just not communicated or whatever. But okay. In any case, we've now pushed another 4 minutes to 1 hour start time. This is really shaping up. I'm loving this match already. This should be fun. So, okay, Jem, now this gives me some time to ask you this question, right? So I feel like the big separation in this tournament thus far has been the teams that do a lot of prep and the teams that don't do that much prep. And I think you guys clearly feel really practiced on a couple of maps and clearly feel strong as a team in terms of positioning and such. Do you think that either of these two teams have done a lot of prep heading into this week? Is this more of a we're just going to show up and shoot thing? What do you think has been done?
Ooh, it's a tough question to answer because I've not been in a lot of communications with Odd Company guys in terms of their 18 prep. I think they're taking this tournament more serious than the DC guys in general. I think because for DC guys, this is a tournament they can play right now. They're a small community, and they kind of feel like this is something they want to play as well, but they may not as committed as OC may be, because OC are actually they're kind of feeling previous year results, and they feel like they want to win.
Sure.
And pretty sure I'm pretty sure they have studied something. Like specifically, if you look at the guy Miley Cyrus there, he's the usually guy who preps the most, especially for 50s games. I'm not sure how much he's involved in 18s. But I would assume that, well, he's a winner in mentality, so I would assume he would practice a little bit at least, like discuss some things. And I think in general, within OC guys, you will always find their squad leaders communicating with each other, and just trying to imitate what we did last year with them. But what I know for sure they've been practicing, as you already mentioned, is the rockets. I think that's like their key to things. And this is something that we introduced last year already, and we just continue doing that, both on our 82nd side and OC side.
I agree, and I think both teams have used rockets quite well in this tournament. The Odd Company team has done a really nice job of getting some rockets fairly close to the opposing garrisons without actually destroying them. So clearly, some time and energy goes into setting those up. This is already, but I agree with you, Jem. This has already got some tension brewing. I mean, we've had 2 false starts already at this point. So we're kind of getting low. We're about a minute to go now to start time. So I guess the last question I have, Jem, before we get started is, it's been a year since we introduced the format, and you guys played in it. So what's been your impression of the format? Like, is it something that, your team is really like kind of taken as like a mantle of like, this is what we do in Hell Let Loose. This is like our thing. Is it a fun side project that you guys do? Like, how do you view this format?
I think I view this format quite different from the rest of the people that I usually speak to, at least from the guys that are good in Hell Let Loose. Because for me, this format feels like, and not only for me, like the whole community from ours, we feel that this is a really good training type of format to practice the squad cohesion and learn the maps better and work on communications between the squads. Because essentially, like in 50s games, you have defensive squads working together, you have assault squads working together, and you always need to communicate well. And I think this format and the trainings that we all organize together give us quite a lot of practice to synergize and to tweak out our comms and transfer it to 50s.
I love that. Beautifully said as we hit match start time. And I can confirm that OC is in fact running. So we do have a real start, no false start here. And I don't see a rocket yet. I'm waiting for the rockets to come flying. Nothing yet.
Where's Templeton?
So keep an eye on the rockets. So it looks like DC is going to go with 1 squad north, 2 squads on the southern side, and it looks like OC is pretty much going to mirror them. So I think we're going to see a satellite fight on that northern road, and then the majority are going to run right into each other in and around the building. Do you think the 3-story building is going to be the key, or do you think it's just an accessory to this match?
It's definitely a key for DC guys because the windows on that building have really good sightlines on the north side and south side push. I'm not so sure about Odd Company. I think for Odd Company, the biggest thing that they need to secure right now is south, because if they secure the south, they can start running behind the DC guys on the south side and try to get those outposts in the wheat fields.
And we're seeing now a pretty good fight developing in the middle, and I mean it's pretty much a mirror matchup, and I love that. It looks great. And
well, let's see what's gonna happen in front of the point, though. Like we saw how training camp tried to place outposts in front of the point, but then lost them immediately.
Yeah, just
and
immediate loss. And already a number of Odd Company folks have gone down. DC getting in good numbers on the backside of the point here. I think DC has a slightly better run in and around the point, so definitely taking advantage of that. We're seeing that satellite fight still develop on the north side.
Odd Company is actually really close to lose the outpost on the north side. You can see Hellfire really close to Squinty, and Squinty is trying to defend that outpost, while the southern outposts are quite back, but the squad leaders are not in position to replace those. So it looks like actually OC is in a bad spot.
Yeah, OC already, we're going to see a cap here. DC is going to grab the point, and OC needs to reset fast. And this is almost like verbatim what we saw yesterday in the TC DC match. almost exactly.
Yeah, but this time around, squad leaders are still alive, at least 2 of them. So Aztec is pushing back to the position where the outpost was before, and same goes for Breakpoint, just by the glider. But you can see already that Night is trying to push up and take some ground away from Odd Company guys that are trying to get back into the north, which is a really good play. And I feel like there should be another guy actually pushing up, but the Squinty is currently holding them off, it seems.
Yeah, and we've got an
Just by
AT
his
player.
presence.
AT player for OC has snuck all the way in and just dropped a squad leader all the way in the back. That was pretty good. Let me see what this is. This is Templeton in the back looking.
Oh, right, Temple is right in the strong point, just running around.
He's just hanging out. Yeah, he's just kind of there. So that might at least buy his team some time. Maybe they think there's a couple more guys there. But already I feel like OC in some trouble at the start here. DC had a very, very strong opening play. And now OC, or Odd Company, is going to need to probably leverage the south side as much as they can. And I don't really see anything north at all for them right now. So already matches swung in favor of the DC team.
Let's see how they respond on the north side from Odd Company side. But what we already see on the south side is something that I've been wanting to see throughout all the games that we've been watching so far on Artillery Battery, is this contest, like the fight over the south side. Because right now you can see that DC are actually recognizing that they need to defend the south side. And they're basically blocking Odd Company to push up there, which in previous matches you could see that a lot of teams would just have the open highway throughout the south towards the point back in, because nobody was boxing them out.
And I'm seeing a lot of Odd Company guys drop in the middle here. We're seeing DC players starting to push south side. So, I mean, right now, it's going to be key for that Odd Company squad on the north to really gain some ground, because south side getting wiped fairly strongly right now.
Clippy's really close to get an outpost by the glider, though.
Yes, he's very, very close. And let's see if they can find him. Oh, Clippy drops 2, but he goes down.
Okay, it seems so far that actually Odd Company is going to be able to secure the north side, at least to some extent.
It looks like DC
I don't feel like the DC have really strong positions to defend it right now.
No, and a squad leader just went down for the DC side as well, so there's going to be a little bit of an opening there. Rocket comes out for Odd Company. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on this little satellite fight. A little bit of a smaller skirmish going on north side. Going to be key for OC as they try to get back in. Looks like Odd Company is now using the glider and the southern trench line to try and get in, but not gaining a ton of ground yet. And DC has got 2 MGs posted up in the 3-story building, or at least, one in the 3-story, one behind it. So, I mean, they've really got nice suppressive fire from the center. So,
and then there's another suppressing MG as well from DC, who's watching south side, just suppressing the hedgerow, which is kind of, quite effective right now against OC, because they decided not to push into the trench line, which I think they should be on the south to get a different angle on the hedges. Right now it's just hedge to hedge fight, but they're winning the gunfight so far.
Yep. And Odd Company has got a squad leader, I think. Let's see who this is. This is Breakpoint. He has gotten in a little bit. He's looking into this trench line on the very southern side of the strong point. Maybe he can get in. He's looking to throw smokes here. You have an AT player fearlessly crossing the field with smokes, so good on him, trying to create an opening. But you're right. I mean, DC has really kind of, I feel like DC had a bit of a hard time with the south side yesterday against the camp, even though they won, and I'm seeing the same thing playing out here.
The problem is that they're not spacing well. Like, they're not controlling the points. They haven't. You can see already that they haven't scouted out the best positions how to box out the south side, because like they're just hugging the hedgerow on the south, and that's only one angle. You just don't see it as much.
Right. Absolutely. And now you're actually seeing a fairly, 3 players from Odd Company have gotten right up against the strong point here. Although Breakpoint's now running the opposite direction, so maybe he's thinking something else. But Odd Company actually starting to battle back quite nicely here and actually getting decent control back of the zone. Not great, but decent.
So far, I think the game is currently sitting on the Northern squad from Odd Company, because they need to push out the Blackhair squad. And as soon as they push them back a little bit, then the rest of the squads can actually start moving their outpost closer to points, like Aztec Squad's outpost that is currently sitting on the glider. It cannot be moved further because they're still threatened from the north side.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can move up. If they can't, I feel like Odd Company will never really be able to get control of the strong point. If they can sweep in, though, as the squad leader just drops for DC again, if they can sweep in on that north side and down, yeah, that really does open up the strong point a lot. So far, OC's kind of got like a tenuous hold in and around the strong point. It's better than being boxed out, but I don't think it's super great.
So far, DC are doing enough.
Yeah, I would say enough is the right word. It's enough to prevent control, but like a good push from OC, a couple of really timely kills could really change the match because DC is still spread out fairly well here, north to south, doing a nice job of giving coverage. If the Odd Company team decides to move in as a team in one area, stack two squads together, try and punch through the line, then I think they can probably do that. Score has been pretty good on both sides.
I think what they really need to figure out right now, do they really want to have this one squad around the glider? Because they're just holding a front line, and I don't think that's exactly what they really want to do. I think this Aztec should be either shifting towards south or north. I would probably prefer north, because on the north side currently they would have better possibilities to at least push them out a little bit and then switch it around later on. Right now they're only focusing on smoking up and then pushing through to the points, the trenches. But so far it hasn't worked for them.
A little bit of a side note, I think one of the MGs for the DC team actually ran out of ammo there for a little bit and had to go down and get some and then go back to his position. So I think that's an interesting logistical note in this match. Ammo is not infinite in